Hey everybody, welcome back to Champnsons and a brand new series following the story of Chase Champion. He was a high school quarterback out of Austin, Texas. He had dreams of playing at Darrell K. Royal or playing at the Horseshoe, the U, um, the Coliseum in LA. Just like a lot of great high school quarterbacks. And he had all the talent in the world. He had the ability to run. He could hit passes when he needed to. He could run the option. He could stand in the pocket. He could be mobile, drop it on a dime. Everything that you would want out of a quarterback for your team. And he was started out his senior season playing excellent, getting deep passes, putting them on point, being the quarterback that everybody wanted, and the offers started rolling in. But come the third game of the season, he went down with a season-ending injury, and as that happened, some of these teams, they can't wait for a guy to recuperate himself. So they started passing up. They dropped all their offers. But there was one school that didn't. They told him, get yourself healthy and come to campus. And that was the Mean Green of North Texas. So he is still playing in big time stadiums like Sanford Stadium against Georgia, but just not for the Bulldogs. He's on the other side of it, facing off against them, taking on that crowd and that team and making plays. His freshman season at North Texas, he would play well against Georgia, not pull off the win, but he would play well, and they would go 8-4 or 9-3 in the regular season. They would lose in the Conference USA title game, but that would get them over to the New Mexico Bowl. And at 9-4, he played great in the bowl game, his first one of his career as a freshman. Made a lot of pinpoint passes, fit that ball into some tight zones, and made sure to. He was efficient with it. Didn't have a whole lot of bad passes. Didn't put his receivers in bad positions. Made great plays down the stretch. And in this one, it really became, a defining moment, I think, for his season. Being down by 10 going into the fourth quarter, he made the throws he had to make, and he was able to drive him down the field for a game-winning touchdown drive here. And with under a minute and a half, that's when everything really started to click for him. He was able to find his receivers, get the balls into those tight zones that Central Florida was putting up, and 90 seconds is all it took for, I don't want to say his legend, but the lore of Chase just to begin. Now, in this series, we are going to follow him through his college career. Knowing most quarterbacks out of North Texas, most players out of North Texas for the most part, do not get drafted. He probably, depending on how he does his senior season, that's going to be where we're going to get most detail. But we will see how he does, and we'll fold him into our Madden 23 series. Most likely as an undrafted free agent is what I'd be willing to say. But we'll kind of see how his senior year shapes out. And looking, like I said, this is a final minute drive. And keep in mind, he's an 18-year-old kid right now, just trying to do something for North Texas because they don't win a whole lot of bowl games. They can get to them, but North Texas does not pull off the win in a lot of these things. But he found a way. And that's all it takes. That's where you start to see the great players separate themselves from the average players. Even at the Division I college football level, is the great ones figure out a way to make the play happen. And that's what Chase did on this drive. He made the throws he needed to make, and he got the ball delivered where it needed to be on point to his playmakers, and he was able to get this ball punched in. But this is season number 1. This is his freshman year, okay? His sophomore year, we would have a slight issue. In the second game of the season of his sophomore year, he would have a season-ending knee injury. So the injury bug came back to bite him. He had one bowl game victory his freshman year. Season number 2, it knocked him down. with another season-ending injury. He thought he was past it after high school, after playing this whole year without facing his whole freshman season without facing any injuries, and being able to take the North Texas Mean Green to a truly winning team. Season number 2 following this would not yield the same result. Obviously, once the first game of the season they played against Texas, y'all can imagine how that game would go. Get completely dominated. But the second game of the season against, I believe, SMU, he went down with a knee injury, and there was just no coming back. But season number 3, this is where he would start to build, to make his stamp, in Denton, Texas. Make his stamp on the campus and the conference. He would once again find himself in trouble as the North Texas were at 1-3, a quarter of the way through the season. But he found a way to win 7 of their last 8 games, get them to a conference title game against Marshall here that North Texas would be hosting. And once again, he started making a lot of the same plays. He really was back to his old form. He's got speed now, a little bit better. His knee is fully recuperated. Has had a whole extra year to recover underneath it. And he is back to the player I think that we all knew he could be. At least that the North Texas recruiting department knew he could be. And, man, did he play great in that conference title game. He made the passes when he had to. He was smart with the ball. Didn't have turnovers. Look at the pass like that. Perfect placement. That's the type of talent you don't see from a whole lot of guys in the Conference USA. That's more of someone you see playing at a Texas, at an Alabama, at Ohio State, Michigan. Those types of schools have that talent of a quarterback. But here, North Texas, they got a steal. And North Texas would be able to capitalize. He would take them to the Conference USA title game, and he would pull out the victory over Marshall, having the play of the game, rushing it in for the touchdown. The first one, he would get 2. He would score a total of 3 out of their 4 touchdowns in the game, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground, and then he gave the other one to our running back because you got to give that guy the ball every now and then. So we would be able to celebrate that, and that would take us to another bowl game. We were 8-4 this regular season, 9-4 after the conference title game, and this is where we would start to finally see what we can do this senior season. This is going to set us up for our senior year here. We made it to the Arnell Carriers Bowl against Arkansas State, an old Sun Belt rival. But now, being in Conference USA, this is the first time we played them in some time, and look at that kind of throw, that pinpoint accuracy just out of the reach of the defender would get the first touchdown. And in fact, Chase would be absolutely outstanding in this game. He would lead North Texas to touchdowns on 7 of their first 7 drives. There was not one time that our offense touched the ball here while he was in the game that we did not score a touchdown, and a lot of it were because of beautiful throws like that, pinpoint accuracy. He did it through the air. He scored 6 out of the 7 touchdowns that we had in this one. Let's see, 6 out of 7, yeah, so 5 of them were through the air, and he did have a touchdown on the ground as well. And that's the type of performance that really is getting him set up to do something great in the senior season. We'll have to see how the year does shape out. We will be playing those games. That's really what we are going to be following. And we're going to take him into Madden 23, so who knows what happens there. But with the way he's developing right now, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of his career shapes up. He wanted a shot at the NFL. When you go to North Texas, you don't really get that. But with the way he's going to play, you got to be exceptional to be noticed, especially when you're at at a team in Denton, Texas. And so we'll see what he can do. Barring any kind of injury, we should be able to play pretty well. I mean, look at what he's able to do right now in just his junior year. Makes the right decision, gets the ball across the goal line. Like I said, 7 of 7 in the start of this bowl game, Arkansas State did not have a chance. And in all my time watching North Texas play in the R&L Carriers Bowl, I never saw them actually win it once. But hey, the story is a changing. We pulled off the victory this time, led behind behind our fearless leader Chase there, dropping those dimes in the end zone, finding a way to get the ball across, get the best out of all of his teammates, and that's really just all you can expect from a quarterback that you have. So this is, like I said, going to lead us to our senior season here. Now, we are doing this a little different. I'm not doing it in the Road to Glory setup because I really hate that. There's the one downside to this game, I think. I liked how they did it before, probably back in the 08 or 09 version of it. But either way, we're kind of going back to that old style of it. So taking a look at his career stats, he did set the single-season passing record for North Texas with 4,142 yards and the single-season touchdown record with 40. Now he's going to be eyeballing a lot of those career records. I think a little over 10,000 is for the career at North Texas, and over, I think, 93 touchdowns is for the career at North Texas. So he's going to be eyeballing those records, but the one that he's going to care about most is seeing about wins and losses. So passing, we know he's got the accuracy, right? 11 interceptions to 40 touchdowns, basically a 4-to-1 ratio. That's pretty damn good with as much as we throw the football. His freshman year is not so great. 26 touchdowns and 20 interceptions. So you can see the definite growth there. Now, looking at the rushing attack, it's not a big part of it, but it is something he can do. He does have the feet, so we will have to see about utilizing that going forward. He did have 109 rushing attempts, basically scrambles and some options, 415 yards with 7 touchdowns in the third season. So he does have the capability to move the ball with his feet. I'm not saying he's dual threat because he definitely is not, but it is something you got to watch out for. Just be prepared for the scramble every now and then, Looking at his stats, the way his stats end his senior season, that's what they will be when we go to Madden. So I'm not sure how he's going to turn out. I actually probably will do some changing that up just to see, just to make it more realistic for a rookie. So while we take a look at the schedule, I do want to remind y'all to hit the subscribe button if you have not already. And if you did enjoy today's video and are excited to follow his career, go ahead and give us a thumbs up because it really does help out the channel. And looking at that schedule, it's going to be a gauntlet. Florida, Arizona, Texas to start. That's where I think we're going to see what kind of player he really can be. But for that, you got to join us in our next episode. And with that in mind, everybody, as we finish looking at the schedule, thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all next time. So as always, stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes from here, right? Later, y'all.